Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz singer and songwriter Umut Adan. We caught up with him in May 2020 to talk about many things like this new COVID-19 world of no live jazz. He was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and got his education at an Italian high school. That led him to getting an undergraduate degree in political sciences. And during his studies in Italy, he held the frontman position for many psychedelic bands, but his path ultimately led to jazz. He talks about that and much more. Enjoy.
I am located at Istanbul, Turkey now.
Wow.
In this precise moment of COVID-19, I remained at home. My tour is cancelled, of course. So I remained at Istanbul, couldn't join my bandmates in tour in Italy for moving around Europe.
What are you doing music-wise? Are you working on any projects or doing anything now?
Yes, I am. First of all, I have to compose 2 albums, which will be some different between each other. And it will be different kind of music. One will be about poet music, songwriter, singer-songwriter, which I compose for the literature tastes of my country, and will be more on words. The other one will be more psychedelic and about the psychedelic sounds of rock and roll history and ethnic music. And will be more instrumental album, I can tell you.
Talk to me about your beginnings in jazz. How did you, where were you born and raised, and kind of how did you get into music?
Yes, I am born and raised at Istanbul, my native city. I am Turkish citizen from 2 Turkish mother and fathers. And we have always been a big music center in the history of the world, from Byzantium to Constantinople. Now at Istanbul. Istanbul has always been a big art center. So the music were everywhere when I was growing up. So you can, it was so possible to hear any kind of sounds and the music's around in a so multi-ethnical culture. Jazz music was one of them too, because Istanbul has a big jazz music festival where we had the chance to see the big artists of the history. But Istanbul had his own sounds in last century with this so special music Istanbul had been able to create. So I woke up with the different sounds, different cultures. My city was uniting all of them. We are still somehow lucky people about the music.
Who inspired you in jazz? What musicians did you really like listening to?
I don't want to say a precise name, but like everyone, I guess I have begun with Chet Baker. Then the first concert that I have been at Istanbul was I was 9 years old with my father, was a Ray Charles concert. I didn't see a lot of jazz musicians in 90s at Istanbul, but in 80s I do remember I saw a lot of musicians, modern jazz quartet. I see all of them. All of them inspired me. Not as much as getting from me a jazz musician. I want to be precise on that. I have been always attracted between the relationship between modern music and ethnic roots of the music. The second part of the music, during the years of university in Italy, attracted my attention more, so I began to concentrate on the roots and the ethnic music of my geography, and I produced the music on that. I always liked the psychedelic music after 90s, followed the history of the music, and I have been a normal, maybe I can tell you, good jazz listener. Bebop I like.
So, what do you like best about being a musician?
Musician must have character. I saw an interview with Bob Dylan when I was child, and he was saying, every musician that I was seeing when I was child had some expression on the face. I know something that you don't know. So I always look for the character, the ability of elaborating the history of the music. That's something that impressed me a lot. Knowledge, of course, but add something from himself and make music something strong. I always like the strong messages from the music in harmony, in melody, in words, and in genres. I always like to see the character in a musician. So that impressed me always.
We're going to get to the end of this pandemic and we're going to move on. And when we do, when you get back on stage and when we get back in the crowd, what do you hope we appreciate more about music?
Exactly. I'm trying to imagine after virus, like every one of us, what will be about the world after this virus, and specifically what will be about the music after this period. I don't think that music will have a lot of things to change in the crowd and on the stage, because musician couldn't play. Now we'll play, and the crowd will listen, and we will be happy to listen. Maybe we can have some more emotion during the concerts because we remained closed, locked in our houses. So energy of the people between the crowd and musicians, and between the crowd and crowd, can create a specific and nice energy around the stages. From the artistic point of view, I can see this will be a pleasure to play because we couldn't. Then from the social and economic sizes of the music world, we will discover day by day, I guess. No musician can imagine now what will be about after this virus period, pandemic period, but I am happy to talk here about from the emotional part of our music. So music will have much more big interest in live music, I guess, because music is made for being together too. So everyone is locked in all around the world in the home. So after the home, when the concert begins, it will be a heaven for me. I guess for a lot of us.
Let's say you come to Kansas City to put on a live show. What kind of show do you put on? What would people expect from what you do?
I always like to put on a precise, insistent, and charactered live music show. As I was citing before, music that I'm making is a ethno-based music, but it has its cardiotic rhythms, so precise. And when I'm on the stage, I am trying to communicate the songs, the words, even when someone can't understand, to create the same and exact ambient that I have in my mind and in my soul. Try to communicate this to the crowd, be unique with the crowd, make the song the king of the night, and then finish my show. This is what I'm trying to do on the stage. Take the message of my music with a precise performance and join the crowd. This is the technically most important part of my show. This is the spiritually most important part of my show.
Well, I hope at some point we do get to see you come through Kansas City. Hey, thank you for taking some time out, and stay safe.
Yes, it will be a pleasure. It will be a dream to come over the ocean to play there for you. It will be. Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Italy, Turkey, America, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Umut for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.